Hey everybody, Carla with Carla's Clever Crafts here. We're going to do I'm trying to get the glare off this sign. We're going to do a wreath today. We're going to use this really cute tulip and red truck sign. We've got yellow, oranges, and reds in our sign. This is a kit that I have available in my shop if anybody's interested in it. And we're going to use the tulip ribbon. And we're going to couple that with some red and yellow. These are 1.5 inch ribbons, and the tulip is 2.5 inch. We have cut them to 12-inch pieces, and we have, I think it's 9 of the yellow, 9 of the red. And because we're only using 3 ribbons this time instead of 4, we have 18 of the tulip. Okay, so lay those to the side. The kit also comes with these realistic lip flowers, and we're going to use those. Attach those. I think I'm going to be doing that with some pipe cleaners. And then the 2 meshes that we're using are this. It's like an ombre mesh. It's orange and cream on this end, and it's got some brown woven into it on this end. I thought that matched really well with the red truck kind of farmhouse country look. And then we're going to also use some red poly mesh. Okay. And we're using a 14.5 inch frame. I get my frames from the Dollar Tree, and I have wired it ahead of time with the pipe cleaners. I did 12 pipe cleaners on the outside 2 rings and 6 on the inside 2 rings. Okay. And we're going to start off. I guess we'll just, start with the red. And I'm gonna make cruffles and just roll the end 4 times. You'll need a clip or something to hold your cruffle. Turn that away from you. Roll the other end. I love you. Turn the girl's face down. Scrunch up the middle to make the ruffle part. It kind of ruffles on the end, and then you have the 2 curls. And we're just going to place that here in our first pipe cleaner. My mesh pieces are cut to 18 inches long. And we're going to be using, let me see if I can do math in my head. 18 and 6, we're going to be using 24 pieces of mesh on this. So we have 18 pipe cleaners. We're going to use 24 pieces of mesh. So we're going to be putting 2 pieces of mesh on these in the end. But to start with, we're just going to work our way around in the order that our pipe cleaners are on here and lay 1 piece of mesh at a time to start. Okay. Both of these meshes came from Craft Outlet. Turn my chat on real quick. I forgot to do that before I started. Okay, we're just going to keep making cruffles. Now this ombre, it is, different colors on each end. So I'm going to be rotating that in my design so that my colors are mixed throughout. You could lay them all in the same direction and have, like this color on the inside and this color on the outside, but I'm going to flip mine as I go. I'll start with the orange on the inside. Okay. Put in my next pipe cleaner, and then I have the rest of our cruffles made ahead, so I'll go a little faster. And I'll just place them all the way around in the order that we've got the pipe cleaners. Oops, I almost forgot to flip this. I'm going to flip this one so the cream is on the inside. This orange mesh does tend to stick to itself quite a bit. So this is what I mean. On this one, we have the orange on the inside and the cream on the outside. And then here we have the cream on the inside and the orange on the outside. So I'm just going to try to remember to flip those each time. Okay, and this time I need to put the orange on the inside. Okay, and then red, we're just rotating the colors. I'm going to go ahead and pull these inside ones out so that I don't miss any of them. Okay, this time I'm going to turn the cream to the inside. Now red. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. And I'll do my best to answer. After we get the first layer of this mesh in, we're going to come in and do some ribbon tails next. And then after those ribbon tails is when we'll add our last 6 pieces of mesh. I think I did forget to mention the tulips that we're going to be using. I ordered those from Temu. The shirt got caught on the mesh. Okay, we have 3 more pieces. Okay, and our last one. And when we put in our last piece of mesh, we just want to make sure that we pull the ones that we put in first up and tuck this side down behind it, and do the same thing over here on this side at the bottom. So that way everything's laying with the same pattern. Okay. Now I'm going to very quickly, so I don't get confused, go in here and pull the 6 pipe cleaners on the inside up. So, because right now I want to add ribbons only on the outside pipe cleaners. So I'm just going to pull these up out of my way so I don't get confused as I go around and put the ribbon in the wrong ones. Okay. So on the 12 pipe cleaners that go around the outside 2 rings, those are the ones we're going to put ribbons in for right now. Okay, and we're only using 3 ribbons today instead of 4 different ones. So I will do a tulip, and then a yellow, and then a tulip, and then a red, and that will be my pattern for the ribbons that I'm going to do. I'm only putting 1 ribbon right now in these outside ones. So we'll start with the tulip. Okay, and now the yellow. And I'm clipping off these pipe cleaners as I go, because once I add this piece of ribbon, that's going to be all I add on this layer. And I just push the pipe cleaner down in and squeeze it so your ribbons will be really secure. Okay, so now tulip again. We're going to do a tulip in every other one and alternate the yellow and red. Okay, so now our red. And then back to the tulip. And then we need to do the yellow. Hey Debbie, happy Sunday to you as well. Thanks for watching. Okay, and the tulip again, because we're doing tulip in every other one. Okay, and we need red. And when I'm putting these outside ribbons on, I'm just V'ing them back towards myself, making sure that my ends are even, and then just placing them straight down in the pipe cleaners. I just scrunch up the middle, pull it back towards myself, and make sure they're even, and then just has like a V shape. Okay, now we need yellow again. We have 2 more pieces to do on the bottom, and then we'll start the next layer. Good afternoon, Shirley. Wondering, is the tulip ribbon one directional ribbon that you would have to watch how you put it on the wreath form? It is. It does not go all in one direction. So that is something, if you prefer for all of your patterns to go the same way, the way that it would hang, that is something that you would have to watch on this ribbon. Okay, now we need to put a piece of red. Hi, Linda. How are you today? Okay, so here's what we have so far. Got our reds and orange and cream. There's the little pops of yellow going around. And I put the yellow with this because we have yellow. The tulips, the tulip ribbon has yellow in the tulips in the design. And then we've also got the yellow in our sign in the tulips. Okay. All right, let me leave those to the side and pull all those 6 pipe cleaners from the inside that we hid from me earlier. We're going to pull those back out because now we're going to add some more mesh to these. We put 1 piece of mesh in it when we went around the first time, so now we're going to actually be putting a second piece of mesh in these 6 pipe cleaners. Okay. And I'm going to still be using cruffles. So exactly like I showed you in the beginning how I make those, that's what we're going to be doing. Only this time when I put them on, the first ones I put with the finished edge to the outside and the inside. Now I'm going to rotate them so the finished edge is to the right and the left, and they lay around, they follow the pattern of the ring. They're the wreath form. Okay. We're just going to twist this one time and then keep working around. We're going to rotate the collars. So we're going to come back on top of these pieces of mesh and add some more ribbon. And then I'll discuss what Shirley's asking about there. Now, I don't always on my wreaths, make sure that one directional ribbons all face the same size, or I'm sorry, same direction. It just depends on what kind of look I'm going for, whether or not I do that. Words are important, I think, if you can try to get your words to go in the same direction. But whenever you're doing, for example, the tulips like this, some of them are going to be the right side up, and then some of them are going to be upside down because of the way that we V the ribbon back. Okay, and now we're going to do red. And with the ombre mesh, the orange I mentioned earlier is ombre, so it's like a orange and brown on one end and orange and cream on the other end. This time, as I go around, I'm going to keep them facing the same direction. So I'm doing the orange to the left and the cream side to the right. This design is about 24 inches wide in diameter, and then it ends up being probably closer to 6 inches deep because we're adding this extra piece of mesh on the top. Okay, so now we have all of our pieces of mesh added. And now I'm going to come back and do the ribbons on the top. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Okay, so actually we had 6 more tulips than we actually needed for this design. Okay, so on this top layer, I'm going to use, normally I do 2 ribbons, but today I'm going to do 3, and I'm going to try to remember to keep my direction all going the same way so we can address what Shirley was asking about. So when I do 3 ribbons, I use the 2 that I want on the bottom and make my X on the table in front of me. Take the 3rd one and lay it straight across. Scrunch up the middle of all of them and pinch them between my hands like so. And then I'm just going to place those right straight down in on our design. Tie our pipe cleaner. Now, actually what that's going to do is that's going to make my ribbons all facing the same direction, the one direction, but they're not going to be all straight up and down. So they're going to be running left to right all the way around my design. And what Shirley was asking about is if I was to do a crisscross pattern, we would want to make sure that we place the tulip ribbon so that it's always right side up. So as you go around, making sure no matter which way you hang it, that it's going to be the right way up. That's really important if you're doing bows, making sure that your tails or your ribbons are facing the right way on your tails. My favorite is actually the floral patterns that are like mixed, where they're not just one directional, but they go in all different directions. And then I'm just taking the ends of my tails and kind of giving them like a curl under. So they lay it kind of like that. And then we're going to come back, and after we add our sign, we're going to add some tulips in there. So again, I just make an X with the first two, lay the third one, oops, right pattern up, make sure that my direction is going the same so that it'll be all the way around. Scrunch together, place it straight down in my pipe cleaner, and twist it. And then I'm just going to adjust my tails, fluff them up and curl the ends, straighten them out if I need to. Like that. Oh, my yellow one was left a little bit too high. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish the rest of these. Hey, honey. Hey, mesmerized of resin. How are you today? Oh, thank you, Linda. Yeah, I've had this ribbon for a while, and I wasn't sure what to use it with because I could never seem to find tulips that matched the colors on this ribbon. And I found a sign on Amazon, which is the one that I'm using, that had like the red truck and the tulips, and I thought that would just be adorable. So we're going to see together how this comes out. This is my first time making this design, so we'll see the result together. Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for the question. It's a very good question. Okay. We've got two more ribbon bundles to do. And then we'll add our sign and then our tulips and see how this all comes together. And I use this bright fluorescent orange in the middle here for my 6 middle pipe cleaners. I did that more to help me make sure that I know where they're located. And then I use like just the plain orange on the outside that matches a little better. But this fluorescent is not going to show in the final design. because we're going to actually place the tulips in there and use them to hide those pipe cleaners. But it helped me with remembering when to place the ribbons, when not to place the ribbons, and which ones I'm supposed to use at which time. Just keeps me from getting confused. Just double check and make sure I had the direction of my tulips going the same way. Okay, so here's what we have so far with all of our tulip ribbons and our yellows and reds and oranges. And I went with this type of orange too because of the truck, and it kind of just gave me like a country type vibe. So I didn't want to do a real bright orange with the sign. I thought that the toned down orange would match a little better. Okay, so to attach my signs, we already have one hole in the top of this sign. So I'm gonna, oh, actually, we were lucky today. This sign already has a hole at the top and the bottom, so we don't need to punch one. When I do need to do a hole, I use my metal hole punch that I got from Amazon. It works really well and makes just a small hole, which I prefer actually to do rather than getting the pre-punched holes. And then I use 26 gauge wire. This spool also came from Amazon. I forget how much comes on it, but it's a lot. This will last me quite a while. I also like that it comes on this spool, and so I don't have a mess of wire that I always have to try to straighten out or deal with or find the end. Because it has this little hole in the top, I can just poke the end of my wire right through that and it keeps it for me. So I don't have to fight with it. Okay, and I'm going to take my really long piece, cut that in half, so I have one for the top and one for the bottom. I feed it down through the hole. I always turn my signs over and twist my wires in the back of the sign. Twist my knot so that it's over the hole. Same thing at the bottom. Twisting the knot over top of the hole. The reason for that is so that your wires are coming out the back of your sign and not off the side. Because if it's off to the side, your sign will wobble around. But if it's in the back, it tends to hold it more sturdy or steady. Okay, and then I'm just going to try to find the middle here and feed this down through all this mesh. And this is an 8-inch metal sign that we're using. So I'm going to attach the wires underneath to the 2 inside rings on the frame. I got it fed through. I'm just going to give it like 1 or 2 twists, and then I'm going to come down here and do this side so I can make sure that I have it centered. We put a lot of mesh in here. We've got a lot of ruffles and curls going on. Okay. And then of course you've got to fix your mesh and your ribbon tails back after you do that because they get messed up. Okay. That looks pretty centered. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this and twist the wire around itself a bunch of times to make sure it's good on there real good. And then I'm going to clip off because I cut it really long. There's a little bit extra. Clip that off, and then I'm going to wrap the end of the wire around the ring on the inside of the frame and push the sharp edge up inside. Okay, now I'm ready to tighten the top part down. I'm going to try to pull this curl out that's getting mashed down there. There we go. Okay, and then again, I'm just wrapping the wire around the inside wire on the wreath form, putting the sharp edge on the inside. Okay, so there's what we have so far. And then I'm going to attach, I have 6 tulips here, and we have 6 little pockets that where we put the last mesh and ribbons. So I'm going to aim to put 1 in each of those. And I think I'm going to do it with pipe cleaners, or I'm sorry, zip ties. Trying to decide how far I want them to stick out or lay. I don't think I like that with the leaves left on there. So I'm probably going to change my plan. And I'm probably just going to use the tulip heads. So I'm going to use my wire cutters. I'm going to pull this greenery down and I'm going to snip these off. Oh, look at that. Those leaves pull right off. Even better. So that's what I'll do. I just didn't like the way that it was laying with the leaves on it. And you could glue these on too. I glue florals quite frequently on my wreaths. But today I just wanted to show you guys how to do, how I attach them with zip ties. Because sometimes you might want to, one thing I was thinking about with this wreath is with the colors. I'm not so sure about the tulips because tulips aren't really fall, but with the collars and the truck sign and stuff, you could potentially switch out the flowers and even use this after summer. Okay, so I'm going to feed it through and bend it up. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend the head on each of them at an angle like that. And then I'm feeding the green part, the stem, down through right above my pipe cleaner. And then I'm going to situate that kind of where I want it. About like that. I'm going to come back here to the back. I hope I can show you guys this. And I'm going to zip tie this in a couple different places around following the ring. So first I'm going to go right here where this crossbar is. And zip tie it. Make sure that I pull it really tight. And then I'm going to do one more up here towards this end. Maybe I'll go ahead and put the next one in, and maybe I can zip tie 2 of them at a time because these stems are really long. So again, I'm going to feed the stem right above where I have the pipe cleaner. Turn it around. So right above there. And then I'm just going to work it down through the mesh till I get to the frame underneath. It's not as messy as glue, and my opinion is that it's probably a little bit more secure than glue. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now back here, I'm going to bring this one on around beside this one, and I'm going to zip tie both of these together. So both of these stems right here. Might not be quite as quick as glue, but I think it's probably a better process. And then, like I said, you could also easily remove them and replace them if you wanted to change the design or put something else on it. Okay. And then these stems are they're wired in the middle. And so if you don't like the angle that you have here, you can always adjust that after you get them all fastened down. Okay. And I am attaching at a crossbar when I can, because I think that also makes things more secure. It also looks nice and neat in the back when we fasten everything down like that. So there's our first 3. This works well with these realistic flowers because the stems are nice and firm. They're thick. They've got a nice, I don't know if this is like a rubber or what, but the zip tie is able to like squeeze on that and grip it really good. And it also has a strong wire in the middle. Two more to go. I'm using, these are 6-inch zip ties. You could actually get away with a shorter one of maybe like a 4-inch. I didn't have any, this is the smallest size I have on hand, so. I need to grab a couple more zip ties here. And then we'll get our last one put in. Well, thank you, Debbie. Okay. All right, and I just need to secure the end of this one so that it's not sticking out. Okay. So there's what the back looks like when we zip tie them in. And then here is our finished design. Looks like I need to do a little adjusting on the flowers because I want them all kind of like leaning in the same direction. So I'll do that when I hang them up, make sure that they're all laying right. Let me know what you guys think or if you have any questions. I will take a picture of this and post the final design because I think it's easier to see pictures than it is to see on the screen. And thank you guys so much for joining me, and you all have a wonderful afternoon. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow.